Hey, what's up, friends? Eric Crumbaker coming at you from H.E.R.E Human Element Real Estate. This is our podcast that we put on once a month so you guys can get some more insight on the things that we're doing and what's affecting us in the community. Today, we've got two wonderful guests here today. One you already know, my wife, H.E.R.E. And then we also have Tony Barsacchini here. He is from, where are you from? Beverly Hills Estates? So we have to roll the red carpet when we have people like that come in. We're looking forward to getting in some topics today. They're getting some drinks sent over to their direction right now. And
Cheers.
I'm going to turn it over to H.E.R.E and Tony to kind of launch us off into this new topic of ours, fire or fact. Is that what it was? Fire or fact or fire or fiction?
Fact or fire?
Well, let's get into it. You know, it's been 6 months since the Palisades. It's been 7 months since the Pacific Palisades fires, and all three of us were affected in different ways. And we all have our own interpretation of what the fallout has been, how the recovery has been, and what it was like the day of the fires and the days leading after the fire. So, H.E.R.E, Tony, where do you guys want to start this?
So many places to start. Well, Tony and I have been friends for a long time. We met at the agency like maybe 10 years ago. And although we went to different brokerages, we've been very close in business. And when the fires happened, when they started that day, he was an unbelievable friend to us. Showed up and just wouldn't kind of leave us alone, I guess. Kept asking, came to the office. We went to R&D, was walking us through everything, and then ended up being the person that walked up the next day for Eric to see that our house had burned down when the Palisades was still on fire. And we're just so grateful to you for that, by the way. Tony knows a lot about fires and how all that works, but the market's been in a weird place this year. There was a pause, there was a rush, there's ups, there's downs, and we wanted to spell some of these myths we're hearing about the fires and pricing, what's happening in LA.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for the intro. I think what's great is we have two local realtors here that can share their experience in the local market, but also can share their experience of the fires.
Yeah.
And how that's still affected us today.
How many fires have you been through?
Where am I in this dynamic?
And
Too experienced.
And you too, Eric, because you and I walked into the fire together.
Of course,
we walked up. So I've been, growing up in Malibu, I've been through fires and evacuated probably 20 times since a little kid.
That's a lot.
Right?
Because I was evacuated once and it burned down. So 20 times is a lot.
At least 20 times. Fires are always unpredictable, right? There's always it feels like it's like an excursion. It feels like you're in a movie. It's like Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
It's like this never ending thing. You're looking for finality.
Wow.
This one really threw a curveball at everybody in the entire city. How would you ever think in our lifetime that we would see the devastation that we have seen today?
No, I mean, if that were the case, Tony, we would have actually went to our place and took stuff out. We took nothing out of our house. We actually just got our dogs because we were under the impression, like all the other times prior, that things would just pass. And where we were located, there was just no possible way a fire could ever get to our building. It was just so far out of reach in my mind. And yeah, fires are unpredictable. And this goes to tell you, we didn't see this coming. I don't think a lot of people did. And if you think about everything of how the fire started, I remember H.E.R.E called me at 11 a.m. It was one of our admin's first days. And she's like, hey, we're being evacuated. There's a fire. And I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, no, don't worry about it. You don't need to come home. It's not a big deal. It's just, they're going to put it out. And, this has happened before.
They've got some water.
And she's like, is everything good? And I was like, no, just get the dogs, go get the passports, and, we'll be back there tonight. And it was just so funny. You fast forward 7 hours, and I'm meeting Tony and H.E.R.E at R&D, and we're just talking about how everything's already gone. We're like, it's too late. It's already gone. No one saw it happening. And you and I were discussing that at dinner. We're like, all right, well, do you want to wake up in the morning? Do you want to go walk over there? And I think we had a couple drinks in us, and we're like, yeah, let's go over there. But I'm going to tell you, the next morning when we woke up, I don't know if I was so destined to go over there. I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to go up there. And you were like, if you want to go, let me know. I'm game. And
I think
Tony, I wouldn't have gone if you didn't go that day. So
I was going to turn around. I was going to literally,
I remember that.
Walking up to Mescal, and we're going to share the video. We're going to share the video in the next episode. But
We'll share it in this episode.
Okay, I'll pull it up. I have video of when the fire started around 11 a.m. that Tuesday the 7th. My brother calls me, and he's in Malibu. He's right next to Pepperdine, his office, and he says, he's just really, stern with me on the phone, like, get out your house, like, be ready, it's really bad. And I'm looking at, and I go over to the Santa Monica stairs, and there's 100 people just clickbaiting, just videoing. I see my friend's dog. It doesn't look that bad. There's
Didn't look bad.
There's
Helicopters.
4 planes doing loops,
Okay.
dropping at the top of. It looks like it's behind the village on the hill. Looks like you see the flames. It's not that windy. I'm like, okay, there's 4 planes. They got it. I've been through this a million times. Then there's talk. The winds are going to shift and pick up. And I had that bad feeling in my stomach. I had that feeling in the pit of my stomach, like. Something's
Like
bad.
the city's going to let you down pit of your stomach, or it's going to burn down pit?
Not a great feeling. Like, not a good feeling about this. Like, it's not going to get put out, maybe. Like, maybe it's not going to get put out.
Yeah.
And then we hear that Palisades is a mess. There's traffic. People are evacuated. There's no game plan.
No.
It's a mess, right?
How did you feel that morning when you and I decided to go up there? I know we wanted to go back, but how did you feel that morning, the day after that? Well, really, it burned for 3 days, but the very next day on going up there, like, what was your thought process? Were you like, yeah, I want to go? Or were you like, shit, I already told Eric I would, and now I'm like, damn, I don't want to go up there. What were we doing the night before? We should have stopped drinking so much.
Just to backtrack a bit, the city was on fire basically for 3 weeks, but houses were burning Wednesday and Thursday in the Palisades.
Yeah.
It was on,
Still
everything
burning.
was
Yeah, we have it on our video cameras because we took a
fire.
bunch of different clips of
And
homes burning.
Nobody in the Palisades knew what was going on because there was nobody up there.
Yeah.
No fire trucks because the city decommissioned them and they're broken. Nobody was there, so nobody knew if their house was standing. So in conversations about going up on Wednesday, it was specifically like, is our house standing?
There's no intel.
Tony,
no intel.
There's no intel. And let me just say this. So on that Tuesday at 3 o'clock, I thought, you know what? I'm not going to because I'm in Santa Monica. I have water, gas, cable, electric. I'm watching it on TV. I'm like, okay, there's nobody still there that's giving me any intel.
Yeah.
And so I head to a workout class just to get my mind out of it.
Yeah.
And at 3 o'clock, the sky's black. And I have a photo. The sky's black in West LA at 3 o'clock. That's when I knew it's bad. Because then I could see how much how it's spread, shifted, whatever is going on. The winds picked up. And so that night I went out of my condo and I ran across the same spot, and I was out for maybe 5 minutes. I had a mask on, glasses. I came back, I smelled, I was hit with, it was pretty windy.
Yeah, it was.
And I smelled, it was bad. And you could see that the Huntingtons all the way to the Bluffs, or not the Alphabet Streets, Huntingtons, it was orange all the way.
Yeah.
So I knew, I was like, it's not going to be good the next day. So
Yeah, 2 things on the wind. We're not really going to get into it, but it was windy, but it wasn't windy enough where I think planes and copters should have been grounded. But you know what I'll never forget, Tony, because Carrie just mentioned, she's like, there's nobody up there. There weren't a lot of people up there the next day when we went up there, but what I will never forget is when you and I were walking down Chautauqua.
The water.
We were walking, kind of getting towards the end, and there's like 4 or 5 fire trucks parked along the side, and you and I are walking on the sidewalk. And to see the faces on these firefighters that morning, they just looked so defeated. They looked so tired. They just looked like failure. And I remember you and I were walking by, like, hey, thanks for everything you're doing. Mm-hmm. And they like barely had the energy to look up at us. And I just felt so bad for them because they couldn't control the situation. As firefighters, that's what they do. They put out fires. They figure out ways to put it out. And I think they were just so understaffed, so undermanned, so under-resourced, and they still went up there and tried their asses off to put these out, and they just felt they couldn't. And I'll never forget those faces that morning.
Okay, so the first thing they did, they evacuated everybody. And then there was no defense.
Nope.
No defense.
No, it's cleared out so everything can burn.
So
Yeah.
so when you're saying they're
Literally.
defeated, the first mistake was the evacuation with no defense. Literally, why weren't they instructed to line the trucks up, call every other city around here, hit all the hydrants on San Vicente? That's a different city that does have water, Santa Monica. They could have gone around. They could have fought it all night long. At least they would have saved hundreds of more homes.
Yeah.
It would have been a different ball game.
Agreed.
It would have been a different fight. And, being, experienced this since I was a little kid, I'm like waiting for that.
Yeah.
Because in 93, I'm going to go way back. 1993, I was on my roof. There were, firefighters from all over the state. How did they get here so quickly? Back in 1993, before cell phones.
Yeah, who was the governor back then? You know what I mean? We had,
And then the 07 fire, and then the 18 fire. I mean, they fought it every time. This time, it's this, like, we're going to evacuate. And then when we walked up to Mescal.
Well, that next day, Wednesday, we came over here, of course, and Tony wanted to go up. Eric wanted to go up. And
I kind of wanted to go up. I kind of wanted to go up.
And we're driving. We go over to Tony's house. We didn't. No. We were driving away.
No, we said not to go. And then as we were deciding not to go, we're like, ask Tony.
Wait, yeah. I said to Eric, Tony's going to go up there. You know that. You're not going with him, but I know he's going to go up there. And he's like, is he? And I'm like, yeah, you need to go with him. He's going to go up. So I call you. And I was like, hey, what are you doing? And you're like, I'm going up there. And Eric's like, all right, I'll go. So we turn around.
We did this when we were little kids.
Go.
We hopped fences. We know all the little shortcuts.
I just hit me. I was like, Tony's going to go by himself. So we go back. Tony's on 4th and San Vicente. They get some water, some bandanas. They walk from 4th and San Vicente down PCH all the way to Temescal.
Yeah.
Up Temescal all the way to Sunset and Via de la Paz, which is, 2-3 miles.
Yeah.
Well, he was asking, he was like, how are we going to get there? I'm like, we're going to cut down by Giorgio Baldi. We're going to go through the tunnel, past the roadblocks. I mean, we did this in the 90s, the early 2000s. We've been, I've been through this. I'm like, they're not going to stop us. So we got up to Temescal, and
she tried to stop us.
Yeah, once you get close, it gets weird.
She's like, you can't go. And I was like, fuck you, my house is burning.
Yeah.
It was weird and it was hot. It was weird and it was hot.
Oh, yeah.
A video of us, and I'm like, I'm going to turn around. We're up by Radcliffe. We see flames. He needs to make that corner. He needs to make that turn to have some
perspective of the sunset.
Have some peace. And so we make the turn. We get up to the village. He finds out, you guys went through total loss, which, I'm so sorry.
Crazy.
Because we were all going to go out of town.
Yep.
And then we see all the firefighters.
Oh,
and
we were going to go out of town. We had a snowboard trip planned, all of us. Oh, my God. Continue.
The craziest thing was there was hundreds. I felt like there was hundreds of firefighters just sitting there.
Doing nothing.
It was like, were they here's the question, and this is to debunk the myth.
Mm-hmm.
Were they instructed to do nothing?
I honestly think they were instructed to go up there to try to put the fires out, but there was no water in any of the hydrants, and I feel like they just didn't want to retreat. They just kind of stayed up there to just make sure lives were being saved. Whatever they could do, which was ultimately nothing. They at that point they're just saving lives because they can't put anything out because they have no water.
There's so many conversations with people saying the firemen were on their street, looking at the homeowner, looking back at them, just like
we can't do anything.
And it's so heartbreaking. I don't hear people blaming the fire department at all, but it's heartbreaking that the loss, LAFD feels that they let people down, which they absolutely did not. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to hear the lack of information or like the headlines. Everyone's making this political, but it's not. It is a failure of our city's management of Karen Bass and other people.
You can't talk about this without bringing the politics up anymore.
Right.
You just can't have that conversation. If you're going to have a conversation about it, politics have to be brought into it because all the decisions that they could have and didn't make could have and would have changed the complete outcome of what we're now currently living through.
Yes.
And
it changes our lives.
As some people don't want to get political, it's not really politics. It's just the decision-making went really south or didn't even happen, and that allowed the reservoir not to be refilled, the hydrants not to be fixed, the planes to be grounded because Biden was flying through. Like, there's just...
Lots of mistakes.
Lots of mistakes.
To put it in perspective for everybody, we are realtors. Our job is to sell a house.
Yeah.
We are hired to sell a house or condo, whatever it's going to be. If we don't sell it and the seller gets frustrated, we get fired.
Yeah.
What's the difference here?
Nothing.
This is a bigger task. This is more responsibility.
Yeah, I agree.
As leadership entails, your community, the landscape.
Yeah.
You
know how to predict this.
You know your cities, the streets.
Yeah.
I have reservations that they knew all of these things that some of the locals know and been through this a million times. there was no defense. Had they called Santa Monica, Beverly
Yes.
Hills, any surrounding city,
Any.
had fire trucks up there,
Out
at
of
least
state.
give me 10 to 20 more. Have them in public storage.
Not one
Have 'em,
fire
you know-
department outside of Palisades was called in that night.
Don't we have a graveyard of fire trucks and ambulances
Yes,
like
which is
somewhere else in
still-
LA? There's hundreds of fire
still a
trucks just sitting
graveyard.
there because we haven't hired enough mechanics to fix these vehicles. I mean,
There was-
it just goes on and on and on.
Yes, there was nobody debunking all the myths. Their water would have saved a lot of homes.
Planes,
Planes could have flown.
strategy.
Water would have helped put it out. Sadly, the fire hydrants weren't serviced. They were broken. The fire trucks were broken. People couldn't even use pool water to put their homes out because the mechanism on the fire trucks was not there,
Yeah.
broken. And we're paying taxes to live in the city. You know, we're paying somebody to do their job. They're not. And I mean, these people should be in jail. They should definitely be removed from office. But it is important for people to know that there's a reason why we elect people so they can do a job. And these people didn't do their job and people lost their lives and their homes. And it's very serious. It's a very serious topic.
We've done so much over the last 20 years as in government to try to protect positions. And I feel like we now need to get to a place of if someone doesn't do good in an elected position, there's no protection for them. You know, like you can't sue the governor. You can't sue the mayor, you know, because they're an elected official, and nor can they be fired. They have to be recalled. And I feel like we're not going to get down this hole, but I just feel like we need to correct that. If a city official or a government official or anyone that's elected does not do their job, there shouldn't be 6 months of recall.
No.
There should be a trial. You messed up. Show me the
trial.
proof. Show me the lack of text or the communication. You didn't do your job. You're out.
Well, you know, the mayor was gone during this, so that's failure one. Okay, so we're not going to blame. We're not going to point the finger because like it was just there's so much wrong. There's so much
wrong.
There was so much wrong.
So
but
much.
the Franklin fire, a month or two prior, man, it was like a battle. You could like I went into Malibu and you see the choppers and you see the trucks and you see like they're putting out. I mean, they fought it like they just it was like a boxing. It was like a boxing match. Like
They do
they
their
went
job.
at it like 12 rounds.
Yep.
This was not that. They
This-
gave up. They put their hands in the air,
hands in the air.
and they just
Let it
relent.
burn.
Yeah, let it burn.
We're not going to
and
get into
then-
conspiracies here, but you're bringing up conspiracies right now, you know?
No, what I'm saying, and then when it's burning, we're realtors. We're getting calls from people. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
Are we genie lamps?
Yeah.
Like, am I a genie? Like, rub it.
Rub it the
Tony,
right
Tony, what's
way.
going to happen with the market?
Well,
Gotta
first
rub it
time
the
ever,
right
Carrie
way.
TV did not have a prediction for what's going to happen. And I always have predictions, but I'm like, we are now in Los Angeles, the most unpredictable market we've ever been in history because of this fire.
Hide your wives, hide your husbands.
what's going to happen with the lots? What are they going to
What's
sell for?
gonna happen
What's the
with
pricing?
rebuilding?
Well, you know,
Can I
let's get into the lots right now because Tony, you've sold 3 lots so far. Am I correct? In escrow, sold, closed. Like, what's their situation?
A few and negotiated a lot. And
Like a lot.
What do you
Like so many, he's selling all
No.
So
Palisades.
today
just-
is what? What is today? August 21st. Tony, Carrie, you guys have been in this market much longer than I have. What's the time frame on these lots? Like let's look at these lots like a stock, okay? When's the best time to buy this stock?
It's a good question. He's good at
It's a great question. When is the best time to buy one of these lots? Now.
You say now? Now, so right now I'm buying the stock. I'm buying Palisades stock today. It's not going to go down any further. We are at the rock bottom.
That's irrelevant. So I'll tell you why. So it's like this is like a cake. So you got to go down the layers of the cake.
Okay.
Look at the pricing. First is the pricing. The pricing now is pricing 10 or 15 years ago.
Okay.
Which has been challenging.
Pricing now is 10 to 15 years
so
ago.
the pricing what
For
lots
a lot right now. Yeah.
what
to buy a
lots
lot.
are asking right now, the asking
Okay.
price and the selling price is what they were selling for 10 or 15 years ago.
Okay.
So
That's a huge percentage difference.
What were they selling 2 years ago?
lots in the village, behind the village on a, let's just say 900 block to
Okay.
the 1,000 block.
Let's say you're in
Another-
ILIF.
Yeah, 900. So the sweet spot's 900 to 1100.
Okay.
Like the cutoff's Bester because then you're in
yes,
coastal.
then it's
Okay.
up,
right.
yeah.
So that area right there is quick for permits. It's about 3 months to get your right
Permitting.
now. So they're selling for between 1.6 and 1.8. Right, and then with the tariffs, so when the tariffs happened a few months ago,
Okay.
everything dipped. One seller got scared. Then other seller they panicked.
And they say tariffs are all bad.
Yeah, and they lower the prices and then so they sold. They kind of went down. They dipped a little bit.
Okay.
And then a realtor put out in the dirt sheets that we haven't hit the bottom yet, which is not true.
As he's getting multiple offers on one of his listings.
We all know who this is.
As I put an offer in one of his lots, and I get a seller multiple counter back. So it's not true. It's not true.
Okay.
It's not true.
And then everybody's asking who's buying. So who's buying?
Well, hold on. Let's go back to, before we get into who's buying, I want to really get into the pricing. So you're telling me and our audience that prices 2 years ago were a lot higher than what you're paying for a lot today.
Correct.
So let's get into this now, okay? I'm interested in purchasing the Palisades. I know nothing of what's going on, but all I do know is whatever I buy, I have to rebuild whatever was existing there prior. Is that necessarily true? Do I have to figure out? Can I build whatever I want?
Not true.
You can. It's to expedite it. If you're a homeowner, you lost your house, you can build exactly what you had.
Let's say this home was built in the 1970s. How do I build a 1970s home all over again?
Perfect example. So the first one I sold was one of the first 10 or 15 to sell. Sold a little higher. The house on it was 1950s, 1960s. Was 1,500 square feet. It's now being framed. They have the second floor up, and it's going to be 3,300 square feet. And it's on a 5,200 square foot lot. Okay. And it has a pool.
What was the original?
1,500.
And now it's what?
33.
Now it's 33.
So it's doubled in square foot.
And they're already framing.
Already in framing. So whereas people are, a lot of speculation is
headlines.
Speculation is it's going to take 5 years to come back. It's going to take 3 years to come back. It's going to take 10 years.
Well, there's still a lot of red tape happening because I was listening to the three homeless guys, and they were telling me, I understand this one particular story you're telling me right now, but I hear it's still having major pushback on permitting and red tape. And I understand not all of Palisades in the Coastal Commission, but homes in Malibu, like they're really going through this right now. But you're telling me an opposite story. So what's the real truth here? Is it like right in the middle? Is it some you got the hookup because you know somebody, or or you're in a list? You're either one, you could be 100. Like, what does this feel like? What does this look like?
List. Okay, so let's go back to the pricing. So if they were selling pre-fire for between 2 and 2.8, and now they're selling, from Marquez area to the Village between 1.2. Or let's just even go a little further. Sunset Mesa. Okay. Let's just say they're going by the Getty, for those who don't know. 1.2 to the Village to 1.8. And, there's 2.2, depending on the lot size and location. So if you can get that, you can build it for at least $2 million. And it's going to be worth 5, 6, 7. And that's what you're anticipating. You're good because you're under where you were, 6, 7 months ago. Whereas you buy it for 2.2 to 2.8. You build it for 2.2. Yeah. Now you're right up against. There's no.
Why isn't everyone just rebuilding? Why are people reselling then? If there's such a great value to purchase a property at this price to rebuild, and you're going to see immediate value.
Because
why is a homeowner selling the property? They're losing out on money selling their lot. Am I wrong?
A lot of people don't want to rebuild. They don't have the emotional strength to rebuild. They don't want to deal with it. They can't afford to wait it out. They need the cash to move on. They have no desire to be in the Palisades.
Okay, good.
They don't like LA anymore because of what happened. I mean, there's so many reasons why somebody wouldn't rebuild. Not everybody, we're real estate agents. We own properties. We're broker owners. We have a very different mindset when it comes to the investment side. When people of a home, to a homeowner, it's a home. But for us, it's a home and an investment in the way we think about it.
Yeah. Well, can you lose?
I don't think you can lose. I think, it's always a risk, right? But it's less of a risk, right?
Okay.
It's less of a risk. So what I would say is that there's so many variables. You have people that are 60, 70, 80. They're just spent. They don't have the bandwidth to rebuild. That's number one.
Yeah.
Then you have people fighting with their insurance company who had a mortgage on their house.
Yeah.
So I hear people are tied up that the insurance is only going to give them, insurance companies only going to give them money, going to pay it out, finish paying it out. If they rebuild, they're not going to just give them the money so they can pay off the loan. Some people are in these binds, right?
Okay.
Some people who had private insurance got paid out, right? So if you had private insurance, and then everyone's trying to figure out, well, who had private? Well, let's look at the neighborhood. If you had basement and you bought your house in the last 5 years and you're behind the Village, you had basement, you had an extra 1,000, 2,000 square feet.
Yeah.
You're probably not getting fair plan, or you probably didn't get fair plan. They probably had most likely private insurance.
Or no insurance, because they bought that in cash.
Yeah, I think a lot of them
some
were
of
pretty
that.
savvy. Well, if they got a loan, they probably had to get insurance, and they probably went private. And I think it's become such a wealthy community.
Yeah.
I think that most people that had basements were fine. We are seeing some people that are just kind of, there were some outliers where people like gave it back to that lost the house before the fire, or they're not making any money, or they're losing. And
Okay.
The insurance side is really tough and complicated.
Yeah, we know.
Right.
you guys.
But the thing is, your house burns down, your insurance pays you out. However, they pay you 50%. 50% goes to your mortgager, 50% goes to you. So you're in this like relationship with your lender, and then once you start the rebuild process, it's this whole like list of receipts and proving what you're building.
Yeah.
And it's just beyond complicated. But in real estate, we fight for everything constantly all day long. We're organized with people and paperwork and conversations. If you're retired or you're a regular homeowner, having to deal with all of these items on top of grief, it becomes an impossible situation.
Before we get into insurance, because we will, and by the way, if you're listening to this right now, you should definitely be pulling up your insurance policy and upgrading that, because I would say 90% of people on the Palisades were underinsured. So
Everybody.
pull that up, and you guys better be doing that. My next question. So the big question, two things. One is, who's buying these properties? Is it investors? Is it homeowners? Is it you and I?
Just
is it a
quickly,
mixed bag?
Don't listen to everything you see on Instagram about
Well,
all
only
these
thing that
people.
bothers me
Just
is
say
this.
that.
And Carrie and I were talking as we were driving the other day. I don't know why this bothers me, Tony, but it does. And it's okay, because things bother me all the time. I don't like people buying lots and sitting on them. I think that's a disservice to our community right now. And there's a lot of people just buying it up, sitting on it. They're going to sell it in 2 years. That's just an empty lot that's going to sit there. And I just don't think that really benefits our community very well. But everything that I'm hearing, a lot of people are doing that. So who's buying and why are they buying?
I empathize. There's a lot of pet peeves. I think that there's so many people that want to be there, right?
Yeah.
First thing is that I give a lot of credit to the local Palisadians. They have a lot of spirit and heart, and they love their little enclave. Mm-hmm. And I love it. You love it. You guys are more locals than me.
You're a local. Stop it, Tony.
I am. I'm a local.
You are a local like no other.
But my grandma took me to that playground in the Huntingtons when I was in the 80s.
That's an amazing playground
and I
right
got
there.
my first pair of rollerblades behind Caruso, which used to be called Benton Sporting Goods. So I have a lot of memories there.
That's cool.
My pediatrician was on VIA
That's
in the 80s.
cool.
So to me, it's home. It reminds me of Malibu, but it reminds me of like you can walk.
This all makes sense now. I was always wondering why you're always, Carrie's like, he's at H.E.R.E. And I saw you, it makes sense. It's your stomping grounds. This is where you grew up.
And now with real estate, you can kind of put it together because it's like you have a lot less red tape than you have with Malibu. You're on sewer. It's easier to sell a house. There's more people. There's more people we know. There's more people in a smaller space. It's a community is much tighter. It's like, it's really compact. So who's buying? So you're seeing, the first thing I think you're seeing is developers. Yes.
Of course, developers.
Of course.
It's not one developer. There's a whole bunch of it. There's a myriad of developers, a lot of developers, because the pricing is right. People that have been looking for deals for a long time.
Pricing is right.
Bastards.
And who doesn't want to buy a home and develop it in the Palisades, of all places?
Everybody does if it's done right. If there's not some SB9 snuck in there, some other low income. If you do it right, investor makes sense. Everybody wants to live there. Everyone did.
Continue.
And the second, you're seeing locals buy. You're seeing locals buy.
The same locals or outside locals buying?
I think both. I think you're buying for their kids or buying something else, buying something closer, or people that have always wanted to buy in, maybe couldn't afford to because it was a little too frothy. And so now it's the time. Now they can get in. If they were in the valley and they're like, I want to be closer to the beach. Because really, when you zoom out, it's really Beverly Hills by the beach. You have a lot of amenities in a close proximity.
Beverly Hills by the beach. I haven't heard that one.
And you can walk to everything. But yet you're right.
You're so close.
60 seconds from famous beaches. Like the film Baywatch down the, and you go to, famous restaurants within
Yes.
a minute or two away.
What I think is so funny is obviously living in Santa Monica for so many years, and we moved to Palisades. And every time you would tell someone, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, Palos Verdes." I feel like 90% of the world's population, maybe 95%,
doesn't know it exists.
probably are still confused at where the
Correct.
Palisades
They're like, oh,
is.
isn't that down in Long Beach? Is
Yeah.
that what burned?
Yeah.
You're like, no, it's
What
the Palisades.
happened?
Like, where is that?
What is that?
It's next to Santa Monica. They're like, where? Isn't there Malibu? Yeah, right between the two.
It's such a small community.
I didn't know it existed until you took me up there the
didn't.
first time.
No, yeah. And it's part of LA City. So,
Right.
Shouldn't be, but it is.
right, they pay $500 million in taxes
Yeah.
a year to LA City that
should be
get used
incorporated.
all over the city. So there have been conversations about Pacific Palisades becoming its own city, like Santa Monica
It
is,
should.
Culver City,
It should.
Beverly
Make their own
Hills,
decisions.
Malibu.
Should be like Manhattan Beach, just like Manhattan Beach.
You think about all these decisions the city makes for this small little
Yeah.
neighborhood in the city. So you get a large percentage of people in LA who, so many people care, but a lot of people don't care. So they're not pushing to get changes made for the Palisadians.
Oh, like these people in their ivory towers on top of the hill and we don't care about them type of mentality? Well, shame on them.
Well, I'm just saying it's an influential, very tiny pocket of the city
Yeah,
that
we
is
keep to
now
ourselves.
dealing with a lot of red tape because of
We're not
that.
trying to get the riffraff, you know?
It kind of like
Okay.
what Malibu probably, it's probably what Malibu was 20 years, like what Malibu
Yeah.
was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You could go to Malibu, 15, 20 years ago, and you'd see people at Cross Creek, you'd see a lot of people from the city come out, and things at night, like the amenity, you'd see, there was activity.
Yeah.
You see that now, I feel like, because they have so many little schools and a lot of amenities now, and like I said, so many amenities in a close proximity.
Yes. So what is it like?
Let's go back on the who's. I want to know who's buying.
okay.
We were off
Okay,
topic,
but
so
let's-
back on the who's buying.
But
So
let's talk about one thing.
I want to know about foreign investors. We already heard about.
I'm good.
I'll take another one.
Okay, I just want to kind of give you some perspective. So in the Palisades, Caruso's still standing.
The Crusoe Village, which
You have
is
you have a Chase Bank, a Wells Fargo Bank, 2 car washes, Ralph's, and what's the other
Air
one?
one.
Gelson's.
Gelson's. Ralph's and Gelson's burned.
Yeah.
Which were really, really old markets.
Yep.
The original.
I loved them.
I know. I like Gelson's too.
It's my favorite Gelson's.
Sort of like Ralph's.
I hated that Ralph's.
It wasn't my favorite, but
I went in there once. It was just
Awful.
once.
yeah, it's not.
I'm not.
Anyways. It's
It's not
biased.
for everyone. For everyone.
Yeah.
CVS survived.
Yes, it already
CVS
reopened.
survived. Then that whole block where Elise Walker is, the UPS store, the
Yes.
barbershop, smoothies.
Yep. Gone.
So who's buying?
Okay, developers, owner users, locals.
What about foreign investors?
I think it's.
I heard
development-
China. I hear there's a bunch of Chinese investors buying up right
All
now.
of
But-
China's buying.
Look at the LLCs; they're all in the city. Look at the addresses on title; they're all in the city. They're all in.
It's a lot of headlines.
Most of them are in LA. Most of them are located in LA. If you really just have to look up to debunk the myth, all
Debunk
the
the myth.
speculation. You just got to look up. I've spent a lot of time looking up and seeing who's buying. You're seeing a lot of the same agents rep a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
same properties. You're seeing a lot of the properties that are 2 million to 4 million sit.
Yeah.
A couple of locals are getting in there and buying for themselves and building. I talked to a couple of locals.
A couple locals want to find something that's maybe in a different location or bigger than what they had because they couldn't maybe transition into that at the time financially.
Yeah.
Or downsizing. And you're seeing a lot of families in Santa Monica, Mar Vista, Culver City who are like, now that I can buy something there, maybe we can build a house for our family. So there's a lot of locals here and locals within the Palisades that
On the
Are
debunking,
buying.
Tony, let me ask you a question because you can probably answer this as well. My favorite person right now, there's one favorite person next to my wife that's just my favorite person right now.
that is hilarious.
And I'm obsessed with Spencer Pratt.
Oh,
Don't get me
gosh.
wrong. I wasn't a fan. I didn't watch The Hills or
Obsessed?
OC, whatever the heck he was on. I've not followed him. But the moment he started being an activist for Palisades, I started following him. And I can't get enough of the information that he's providing. He's going to Washington, D.C. He's meeting with other senators. He's got Gavin Newsom on his map. Gavin Newsom has already called him out. So he's really messing with these heads of people who feel like they're flawless, they're untouchable. Mm-hmm. But all of a sudden you see these little like things happening, and all the information that Spencer's coming out with is damning evidence. Wait, is it real?
What did Gavin Newsom say about him?
He says he's a C-list celebrity and he shouldn't be listened to.
Oh, you didn't know that. I was going to say we should highlight that. Yeah, he said he's a C-list. And I was like, C-list?
It was great, though, because he ate it up. He's like, yep, I'm the C-list celebrity coming after you, Gavin, and da-da-da. It was great.
Interesting rating.
I went to summer school with him. I went to summer school with him. We have a lot of mutual friends. I haven't talked to him in years. I would always see him in Air One. He's always on the phone. He loves the Palisades.
You can tell.
I didn't realize that, he had multiple homes there, and they were so affected. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think there was talk his insurance kicked him. There was a lack of insurance.
Oh, yeah.
There his parents didn't have insurance.
Somebody didn't. He was talking about something with no insurance.
I get it.
A
it's
situation
expensive.
with no insurance. I don't know. But he's there every day. He loves it. I'd see him. Oh, I know he loves it. I mean, that's his home. He grew up there.
Is the information that he has right?
But he's right because he's defending. That's his turf. He grew up there. He's been through all the changes in the community. And he probably feels like, and I get it too because I'm a local. He feels like it was taken away from him.
Yeah.
It was stripped from him.
Yeah.
And that, money is freedom. And that's the same thing with property. Owning a property is freedom.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're not
a
slave to rent or this or that. We're paying we're on a different path.
Yeah.
Right? So he was free.
Yeah.
And now he's not free. And now he has to go put back what he had before, which is going to be a real pain in the ass.
Correct.
And
wow.
He's frustrated.
Very interesting comment that owning property is freedom.
It is.
Well, that's why people buy property.
We got that. Just thinking about it like that.
It's financial freedom.
The way that people feel having their homes burned down is like they're no longer free.
We're talking about the homes burning down, but let me just pivot really quickly because I feel really, really terrible, and I haven't heard one good story yet of all the homes that survived in the Palisades and the homeowners that have to deal with that asset. Because from what I hear, insurance could give a rat about them. They're not getting payouts. They can't live in their homes. Everything's tarnished. And they can't sell because no one's buying a home that's already built in the Palisades that's been affected by smoke and fire compared to just going out and buying a lot. So how are these people dealing with this?
I feel I want to run it back to Spencer Pratt.
I think he's,
talking about his facts.
He's got a lot of heart.
He's a great advocate for the Palisades.
I'm all about it. I think Spencer Pratt right now is the reason Karen Bass is being sued by Crowley. I don't think she would have sued.
Oh, really? That's happening?
Yes. Awesome.
Yesterday.
The
fire chief is now suing Karen Bass.
So
personally?
Personally.
Or just
for being fired, how she got fired, and
who's suing her?
Kristen Crowley.
No, who's suing
Karen Bass.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So she can sue her because she's a fire chief.
She's suing her for unlawful. She's suing her for unlawful termination.
Wrongful termination.
And then not just that, she says she's got receipts. I've got text messages. I got phone calls. I could prove that I gave her everything that I needed to do in my position. She filled her position, and I got fired for it.
It was a very low blow to let her go.
Oh, well, she was about to get blown away herself, and she didn't want to get blown away. So the first person she had to find was like, okay, you're cut so I can survive.
But just I want the people to see that was a scapegoat.
Oh, if everyone saw that.
Yeah. So anyways.
So back to Pratt. Continue.
Well, that's interesting that she did that because I think that she went into Lucky's, if I'm mistaken, in Malibu, and some of the locals were not happy, and they yelled the mayor and yelled at her.
I would too.
Good.
And
I'm waiting to see her on the street.
And it's amazing to see it trickle to Malibu because obviously how much of Malibu's burned this time, and it's like a month before there was a lot of defense to the fire, and so people are pissed, people
rightfully
are pissed,
so.
And
it's hard to see her talk about ICE so loudly all day, every day for a month or two, and yet the fires were just like, meh.
Oh, she's forgot about the fires. That's gone in her mind.
She did not advocate for the city or make any changes, but
I think
priorities are not. Yeah.
The three of us would have had a better game plan. Let me tell you. Okay.
The mailman would have had a better game plan.
Go on YouTube and go look up airport fire. Go look up Rosenbauer Panther truck. I think we were looking at it at the night.
Oh yeah. They have them in Europe. And those trucks that already have water tanks.
The most advanced fire trucks.
Yeah.
They're like $1 million, right?
Yeah.
But these fire trucks that we have
Correct.
are $1 million. I think are $1.4 million.
Correct.
And so these are off-roading. They have multiple nozzles, but they're for airport fires. They're highly effective. Why wouldn't we have hundreds of these?
Great question, and it's funny just to really add on to that, Tony. Those countries are like, like Sweden or like these little European countries. Our state's the third biggest economy in the world. If I'm correct on it,
our city, yeah.
No, our state is the third biggest economy in the entire world.
The fifth biggest, yeah.
And yet we can't afford to have proper fire trucks to service our cities, and it's mind-blowing.
They make them in electric.
And we pay the most taxes.
We can afford it.
No, well, you can't afford it when you're lining the top pockets of the politicians.
We can afford it. They didn't choose to spend it on its
correct.
I think that we need somebody that has more of a business mind and thinking.
Yes.
Right. Because
no more politicians.
Right.
Right.
They're
showmen.
We're in a deal. We're thinking, well, if this doesn't work, we have to have a backup plan. Well, if that doesn't work, we need a third backup plan.
Yeah.
You need to have a backup plan. I don't think there was even a plan.
Yep.
There was no backup plan. There was no third backup plan. If it was me, the first thing as a governor, or mayor, I would have bought 100 of those.
Yeah.
Put them in Santa Monica Airport. Had them. I mean, they have HIPAA
years
filters.
ago.
Yeah, you could go in. You could fill up at every hydrant.
Yep.
All the way
up there, leading up the way, yeah.
Then you could send another 50 to Malibu. It would have been a great...
Correct.
It would have been a battle, but
Correct.
It would have been better
Drones with water.
Drones.
I mean, traffic control.
Boats with water for all the homes in Malibu. How do homes burn on the water?
That is...
To this day, it's mind-boggling.
It's insane.
Okay, back to Spencer. I think he's 100% correct to...
He's 100%.
Yeah. He's
correct.
He is. He's 1,000%.
1,000%
Remember
correct.
at our previous.
Yes.
1,000%.
1,000%.
1,000% for sure.
Yeah.
1,000% for sure.
100% for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Correct.
I think that he's digging deeper as to why we had no defense, and then where did the fire aid money go, which is crazy. The fire aid money...
that is so wild.
The fire aid money is the biggest thing, Eric.
Oh, my God. The fire aid money, I don't even want to get started with that.
This goes directly
Put them all in jail.
victims.
Put everyone in jail. This isn't just like mismanaging money or wrong allocation. This is straight theft. It's stealing money for people. Everyone who watched Fire Aid, every person that attended Fire Aid,
amazing.
you watched on TV, everybody was under the same impression. Whatever dollar I give is going to go back to these families that have lost everything that they've ever acquired. And it was such an emotional experience.
Right?
Like, we had friends that went, and they were crying the whole time they told us.
Crying.
And we watched it, and we were very emotionally driven on this. And then to find out, and then not just that, we called and we applied and we talked to them. We sent emails to these people to try to figure out, hey, how do we get a part of this? Like, how do we, is there a list we need to join? And then it comes to find out that every single one of these went to nonprofits. Some of them that had no affiliation with anything Palisades related. They had Indian resorts getting money. And then not to mention $25 million went to Gavin Newsom and his wife.
Okay.
What?
Here's the first thing. What happened? What's the first thing that happened to everybody after the fires? They were forced to move in other areas.
They had to find somewhere to live.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have to find somewhere to live. So Santa Monica went crazy.
Oh
so
my
people
God.
that had money bought homes in Santa Monica, spending above where they probably wanted to, getting in multiple offer situations, going into Brentwood, buying a home in Brentwood. So now they've had to restart their life. So now they're further out. Okay, so let's just say, there's less homeless, there's less this in the Palace. There's like one homeless person in the Palisades.
I didn't see any.
Yeah, there's one or two.
There's one in the...
The one that lived in her car?
By the library, maybe.
Yeah, there's a couple. Yeah.
Okay, but now they're forced to spend more money to adapt to a new area, change, traffic, the 405. Then people went to Manhattan Beach.
Orange County.
East, Orange County.
Yeah.
Montecito.
Marina Del Rey. I know a bunch of people in Marina Del Rey in Manhattan.
Yeah, and there's people renting apartments and condos. And they're not sure what they're going to do. They're in the neighborhood here.
Yep.
So I think that's the first thing. And now when you have that and they're forced to kind of be out of their norm and their comfort, and that's a big deal, right?
It's scary.
And they don't have anything.
Correct.
They have nothing. So now when you hear that $100 million raised and you're getting excited, like what a great community, and you have no access to it.
No access.
So.
And then they make you apply and give a paragraph about why you deserve the money. And submit your tax returns. And
they make you give all kinds of things over because they don't want to give you.
After you lose your fire, you have to prove why you deserve it, and then you don't even get it.
Wouldn't you surmise that the people that are due that money are the first 50 to 100 people they should have allowed, and this is just me guessing, and I'm not an expert in that, but you're going to raise $100 million. So the first 50 to 100 people to apply that had no insurance, just get it.
Yeah.
And proof of address, ID.
Not even no insurance. I mean, just...
some kind of vetting.
Yeah. Anything.
Of course, vetting.
And then the money runs out, and then you do it again.
Correct.
But how does the money goes from a nonprofit, it gets raised, and then it gets
sent to nonprofits.
Gets siphoned off to a nonprofit.
By the way, there's only like 25 nonprofits.
Yes, and then what happens to that nonprofit? The people who run it get paid, and
Correct,
then their
the
staff
CEOs
get paid.
and the staff,
And then
and
they find maybe a couple people they know who lost their homes and give them a small check.
No.
Yeah,
I think
literally.
people are upset because they feel that this money, this was like a Ponzi scheme. Here's what
Everything's
happened.
been a Ponzi scheme from the fires.
The money got raised, goes to this nonprofit, that nonprofit. Then they trickle it off, and then they donate to this and that, and then this cause and that cause. And then we hear that the governor has a $9 million house.
Yeah.
How do you... I don't have a $9 million house.
And
I
that
want
the
a $9 million
nonprofits
Correct.
were owned
I want
by...
a $9 million house.
Yeah, I want a winery too.
Nonprofits were owned by his wife.
This
Like,
is where...
why is the money going to Newsom's wife's nonprofits? I don't think because she's benevolent and happens to love the Palisades.
No, they needed money for the winery.
Yeah.
This is not a political thing. This is...
Common sense.
This is... Well, if the FBI's looking at
They
it
are.
and had our friend
Yep.
as a guest, and they've seen the video...
Tom Scott's looking at it right now.
Then there's an issue.
Yeah.
But then we're also hearing that there's people in government right now that are getting indicted for mortgage fraud.
Yeah.
that they're using
Adam
as a
Schiff.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So now it's like a lot of stuff's going on, and it's like...
I love it, and I'll tell you why I love it. They're going after everybody all at once. So when they're going after Adam Schiff, they're going after Karen Bass, they're going after Gavin Newsom, and they're going after everybody. All these people can't come together and try to fight back. They all have to worry about themselves. So Adam Schiff right now is trying to fundraise money for his attorney fees.
Oh my gosh, that is painful.
When there's just so many things attacking these people all at once, they can't come together and focus all their money and funnel it towards one source. Now they're all fighting for their lives right now, and they're being exposed.
Well, I think what's challenging is seeing this happen, and it's not like, oh, give us money, this is hard. It's just seeing a broken system. People wanted to help and give back, and they didn't have direct access to people who lost their homes, and they were lied to.
I actually have recorded many times a guy on the TV screen. Just so you guys know, please call 1-800, whatever it is. All the proceeds are going directly back to the homeowners who lost their homes. How can you say that?
And on top of that, if you're involved with any of the lawsuits against LADWP, in there, if you accept any grants from the county,
you're voided from these.
You're
voided from. Yep, you get eliminated
from these lawsuits.
It's like a trick they do. Everything's
a
a trick.
Everything feels like a trick and a hoop, and you lose your home, you lose your identity.
And they try to make it harder for you.
I mean, that night we went to my parents' house, and I walked into a room, and I was like, "Can I borrow some underwear?"
How was your mom's underwear?
And my mom's underwear was lovely. How were my dad's shorts?
Those are workout shorts, okay? I didn't ask for his tidy whities.
Okay, Jonas. But just as we're going through these basic steps, it's like, and then we have to deal with these layers of bureaucracy as we're going through all this, and it's not right, and it needs to be addressed. It needs to be public, and it needs to be fixed because we don't deserve this.
Yeah, I agree. Karen Bass, you definitely need to be tried and go to prison.
Well, let's go back to the permits. So,
okay,
we were first told Palisades, they've issued 100 permits. Well, now it's up to like 200. Malibu, one permit. One
because they have the Coastal Commission, right? Is that why?
No, it's just because I think they're in influx. The cities, there's a lot going on at the city. And so figuring this out because there's been so much on the beach that's lost. So yes.
Do you think that ratio, the one of Malibu and like out of the thousands of structures that lost in Palisades, the 1 to the 200 are almost like evenly ratioed just based on the loss of each city?
Right, but I think
because 200 is really low in my opinion. They should all be approved by now.
They should all be approved
immediately. All of them should already be approved, and all of Malibu should already be approved.
Start building.
This is insane that we're even having a conversation about this.
There was someone saying that
you can't build.
There's someone saying they needed to get a grading permit, and they had to put a notice on all their neighbors' doors about their grading permit.
There's no doors. There's no doors. There's no neighbors.
What are you
that's what's going on at the city.
Where are you sending the notice to? Because a lot of these addresses, there's no mailboxes.
All these people need to be fired.
Well, okay, so let's just say from, if you know Malibu, you know that from Carbon Beach to Topanga Beach, there's total loss. There's miles and miles of no homes. There's little
and businesses.
Yes, and there's little increments of homes that survived.
Yes.
And one of which was a home my dad designed in the late 90s. So that's emotional for me to see.
His home survived. Because
one of his homes still
What
standing.
happens to that home, you think, now?
I think it's just because it didn't have a wood foundation underneath. It had concrete underneath.
Yeah, but what happens to that home now? Like,
it's not good. It's not good. It's half burned on one side, but it's going to be a long time before they can do anything with it. But it's just amazing that it didn't. You're going to see that generation of architecture still there, whereas a lot of these homes were cool homes from the 60s, 70s, 80s.
Know.
So much
gone. Some of those beautiful mid-century
so much
homes
character
and
so
much. Every time I would come home from the airport, when I was at college, I would drive PCH and just look, and you never think that in my lifetime, my late father used to say, never in your lifetime, we've had a pandemic, fires.
This last 5 years has been unlike anything I've ever experienced, almost like an alternate reality.
Yeah, it's like we're living in the Matrix.
It is a little bit like apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Apocalyptic for sure.
But it's only this state, just so you guys know.
I don't know about that.
Okay, no, I'm telling you. It's only this state. It's in New York.
Well, I love California.
They're not dealing with this in Florida. They're not dealing with this in good states.
It's also hot.
They have resources. They have money. They're allocating correctly. They have real leaders.
We have the best weather. We have some of the best real estate.
We are going to advocate to have this fixed.
Yeah, I know.
Here's the thing about Malibu. What I want to say is that whole section. So if there's fire aid money, there's money being raised. As a leader, and again, I feel like I'm a leader in a way. You're a leader. You're a leader.
Yeah, of course.
I think you've been outspoken after. You guys are more victims than me, and like you guys have a lot more to say about it. But I can just, on the outside, I can make recommendations, and I would say, why isn't there money being tossed at helping these people on the beach that they know, it's going to be 5 to 10 years.
Very hard.
And it's going to be impossible for them to build back because they're talking about doing sewers, connecting to a sewer. And now it's like the amount of concrete and foundation, it's like building a freaking freeway.
You know why? They don't want to.
But why not take that money? They could easily snap their fingers,
raise
money.
They don't want to.
They could help them build the foundations back.
It's not in their portfolio of how they want to rebuild back. They've had these plans.
That's sad. It's a sad.
That's where the conspiracies start.
Well,
it wasn't they planned this, but the fact that once the match was lit, they decided not to protect it because they had other means of that land in the future.
And then don't help you rebuild back.
Make it very difficult for people to rebuild, so they're forced to sell their homes based on their mortgages that are still carrying and their insurance money they're not getting. And just so you know, we were listening to Tracy, our person from the Palisades, Tracy Parks, on the 3 homeless guys, and she said it from her own lips. I know there are people in our city officials and there are people in the insurance industry that are making it difficult on purpose. I don't know why, but they're making it difficult to pay people on the insurance, and and the city's making it difficult for some owners to try to rebuild. Yes. And everyone can have their reasons and conspiracies, but I know that it is happening. I just don't know why. And it just goes to the point where their whole goal is to get people out. Well, these are rich people. They can go somewhere else. They can live anywhere else. They can rebuild, and this is now our land.
It sort of reminds me of the 2018 Woolsey fire, and the amount of devastation was obviously 6 times less. I think 1,000 homes were burned. But if you go to Malibu Park now, by Zuma Beach, across from Zuma Beach, which is where I went to middle school, you could see it was a lot of original owners, and it was kind of modest mixed with these really cool estates that are on the bluff.
Yeah.
Now you go up there and it's all new homes.
Right.
And it's like you can just tell that it's more affluent now. It's like a lot of original people are gone.
It makes it more
the fire
affluent.
just literally, people just went like this.
Yep.
They threw their hands in the air. Yep. I'm not going to go. Malibu's impossible for permanent. I'm done. I'm gone. And people went, moved, rented, bought. I mean, they might still be around, but that area is completely different now.
Yeah.
And so that makes you think that that's kind of going to happen.
It's going to happen.
The majority of people in the Pacific Palisades could not afford to rebuy there.
Correct.
More than 70%.
Correct.
Will never be able to live there again.
I agree.
Unless they rebuilt, if they had insurance.
I agree.
It wiped out a multitude of generational families, of grandparents, of...
Yeah.
we couldn't even probably afford to rebuy what we bought 3 years ago.
I agree, and luckily we had insurance. But you guys mentioned earlier, Spencer Pratt's parents or grandparents or someone didn't have insurance, and I'm going to tell you right now, from information that I've acquired, a lot of older homeowners who had properties that were built in the 70s, that their properties are now worth $6 million, and they bought it for like $800 back in the 75, and they're trying to get fire insurance. They're not paying $20,000 for their policy. They just didn't have that type of money. They're on fixed incomes. They're retired. So that's why I feel a lot of homeowners didn't have insurance.
Of course, yeah.
And now, you're right, Carrie. They can't get back in because now they have nothing. They have nothing to hold, and that's what breaks my heart when we're talking about the money and why this happened.
I think
we're young. We can get over this. Don't get me wrong. It's really tough on us, but we're still young. But compared to a 75-year-old, oh my gosh, it just we see it ourselves. We have friends.
The moral of the story is that the wool is now been pulled over the people in Los Angeles or maybe the world, and
hopefully
you can't just listen to all the garbage on Instagram.
And 99% is garbage. Unless you listen to Spencer Pratt, it's all garbage.
Well,
I don't care. LA Times, Politico, all that's garbage.
He painted his retaining wall pink.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's funny.
He put Heidi. He put her.
Oh, I saw that. That was great.
The fact that
he's doing podcasts on his lot.
On his lot. I love it.
Let me share this.
It's time for everybody to wake up.
So I have a client. I sold a house. I've become a lot more familiar with the Palisades, selling in that market. And I sold a house, and I feel like I became more of an expert by selling this property at a good time to a client and then leasing it like 3 or 4 times. And the house burned down. And it was a great house. It was a Thomas James house.
Yep.
There was a tenant in it. So it was a double loss. The client lost the house, lost the tenant.
rental income.
And her insurance. What kind of insurance did she have? She had a landlord policy. She didn't have private insurance. Does she have enough to rebuild it? No, not really. She's a little bit short. And what's she going to do? Is she going to sit on the lot? Well, she's forced to sit on the lot. I know that's your pet peeve. But if she could rebuild it like this, she would. And what's disappointing is that it's kind of taken that client out. It's put her on the sidelines for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And it's a disappointment because my buddy's now clearing the lot for her.
Yeah.
And to see how difficult, clearing the lot's not just like, okay.
No. Oh,
no.
gosh, no.
And the amount of debris and concrete, and then you see all the ash. It's like it's never ending ash. And I think we're all thinking, oh, okay, that part's done. But when you're there, I mean, it's not real. I don't feel like some of that to breathe. I don't know. I want to say it's
actually, do you think on the health side,
I was sneezing a lot.
Do you think it's safe up there to live? For sure, but you do think it's safe up there? You think if you built your house, you're not going to have cancer in 10 years?
No, I think you shouldn't be around a lot being cleared. You shouldn't be around a lot being cleared, period, because I was around it.
You think they did it right, though? I heard they're not even clearing lots correctly.
No, they're doing a good job. Just you shouldn't be around it.
What about this, Tony? Let me ask you a question. I buy a lot, okay? I go through all the process. They start rebuilding. My home's being put up. My home's built. I move in. And then all the lots next to me and across the street are still empty, and they start building on those lots. Is it unhealthy to live there then?
Is Tony now a health expert?
No, I'm just asking what you guys' opinion. These are just common sense questions, do you guys feel that would be healthy or unhealthy?
I think it's no different than what's that radon? We deal with radon. Houses like in Miracle Mile
asbestos.
Have radon. There's higher exposure of radon like in Miracle Mile because of La Brea tar pits.
There's also radon in Santa Monica basements.
Yeah, so they have that can be dangerous.
But you know how you can get radon out? You just get a little tube.
I don't even know what radon is.
Exposes it to the outside.
There's ways.
It's
so I don't think that and that can be cancerous.
Sounds like a superpower. What's radon?
I have radon.
I have radon.
I need to feed them.
So this has been a great first podcast, or not. I wouldn't say first podcast. It's a good first podcast back because we used to make podcasts all the time on different subjects for different things. So it's great to be back with the crew. It's great to have Tony back as our first guest in our new location in Santa Monica on Montana. I want to thank H.E.R.E for being the host today with myself. And I think the topic was amazing. If you have any interest or have questions regarding what our thoughts are on different subjects, please be sure to reach out, DM us. Tony, what's your Instagram?
It's Tony Barsacchini.
Tony Barsacchini. That's his name. You'll find him on Instagram. Carrie at Carrie White. You can find her on Instagram. And my name's Eric Krimbaker. You can find me on Instagram. You guys can email us, call us, research us. And thank you guys for tuning in. It was great. Thanks for joining us at H.E.R.E Human Element Real Estate. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Cheers.